Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to move for second reading of Bill 5, an act to strengthen financial security for persons with disabilities. Madam Speaker, all Albertans should be able to plan for their children's future. This legislation amends the AISH Act and the AISH General Regulation so Albertan can establish trusts for family members and loved ones who are receiving AISH benefits without affecting their AISH eligibility. The AISH program, Assured Income for Severely Handicapped, provides financial and health-related benefits to support almost 60,000 adults with a disability. AISH benefits help people with their daily needs and with living as independently as possible. This program is about much more than a monthly living allowance. AISH includes significant benefits, including health benefits that cover the cost of dental, optical, and prescription drugs, as well as covering some of the costs of child care. Madam Speaker, AISH provides the support people need on a daily basis to live meaningful and engaged lives. AISH should not prevent Albertans from saving for their future. People with disabilities should have the same opportunity for financial stability as other Albertans. And many Albertans have told us that. People across the province reached out to us and said Albertans with disabilities should have equal access to financial security. And we are listening and taking action. Under Bill 5, Albertans will be better able to plan for their children's future. They can help ensure their children or loved ones are taken care of. This legislation will ensure that people with disabilities have access to funds for continued care and quality of life. It will ensure that people remain eligible for AISH program without having to deplete their trusts. And AISH clients will have time to invest unexpected payments, such as an inheritance, into an exempt asset without losing their benefits. For decades, the previous government's regressive policies were designed to keep people off AISH. We are working to ensure Albertans have clear access to supports they need. We have invested $188 million in the AISH program and are working to create a shorter, simpler, and more accessible application form, developing user-friendly how-to guides to help Albertans apply for AISH and set clear standards to ensure the program works for Albertans. Our government believes in the power of collaboration. Last year, our colleague, the MLA for Calgary-Curry, met with self-advocates and families of people with disabilities and heard their concerns. In response, he championed changes to the AISH Act with a private member bill introduced last fall. His bill did not make it to final reading, but he highlighted the importance of the issue and a lack of fairness in the system that needs to be corrected. He was supported by Inclusion Alberta, an organization that advocates on behalf of children and adults with developmental disabilities. Inclusion Alberta started a petition, and our government heard from more than 3,400 Albertans asking for changes to AISH Act. So we are taking action. As Minister of Community and Social Services, I am honored to say that Albertans are at the heart of all of our ministry's programs. And with Bill 5, we are putting Albertans first. Alberta is one of the few jurisdictions that doesn't have explicit exemptions for trust for people with disabilities. Under current legislation, an AISH recipient could lose their eligibility as a result of an inheritance. This is not right. As I said earlier, all Albertans want to have peace of mind and ensure their children or loved ones are taken care of no matter their financial situation. They want to have the option to leave behind their personal financial resources and other assets, the things they have worked for throughout their lives, to support the standard of living of a loved one with a disability, and to be able to do so when unexpected costs or expenses arise. Most importantly, they want to be able to do this without jeopardizing their loved one's eligibility for the ACE program. We heard from Albertans loud and clear on this issue, and we are taking action. Two changes are proposed in this bill. First, Bill 5 amends the ACE Act to ensure trusts are exempt as an asset when determining the eligibility for the ACE program. Secondly, there will now be a one-year grace period if someone receives a large payment, such as inheritance, to invest the payment into an exempt asset. This grace period will allow time to make thoughtful decisions and plan for their future. People will now have time to seek advice and make good choices about how to invest their assets. And parents and guardians will be able to make thoughtful decisions and plan for the long-term care of their children and loved ones who have disabilities. ACE recipients will not have to deplete their trusts to continue to receive benefits. Discretionary trusts were allowed until the previous government prohibited them in the 1990s. This was a significant penalty on families and individuals looking to prepare for their future. With this legislation, families can now help provide for the long-term care of a loved one. These changes allow more flexibility to plan for the future while remaining accountable. Bill 5 will allow for the exemption of discretionary and non-discretionary trusts as an asset in which an applicant, client, or cohabiting partner is a beneficiary. Should the bill pass, a client will be able to be a beneficiary of a trust of any value in addition to the current $100,000 non-exempt asset limit without affecting their eligibility for the ACE program. Bill 5 also includes an amendment that will temporarily exempt as an asset for a one-year grace period payments that are not considered income by the ACE program, and to place those funds into an exempt asset. This could include an inheritance or gifts. The grace period ensures ACE recipients will not be penalized and potentially lose ACE eligibility if they receive a lump sum payment that puts them over the $100,000 non-exempt asset limit. And it provides the time for people and their families to make long-term financial plans without pressure that they will become ineligible for the ACE program in the meantime. Community and Social Services will advise Albertans affected by this change to consult professional estate planners and legal experts for advice and direction on how to make the best choice to plan for their long-term needs. Madam Speaker, Bill 5 is about fairness, and our government has committed to protect vulnerable Albertans and ensure they are treated fairly. I'm committed to ensuring that people who receive support from ACE program have the best system possible to meet their needs. For this to happen, we need to ensure our emphasis is on being fair to all Albertans, and especially to people who receive our services. As I mentioned earlier, we are committed to making real changes that will help improve the lives for Albertans with disabilities and their families. We are taking significant action, including moving forward on the first advocate for persons with disabilities in Alberta's history, which we will begin recruitment for this spring. We have made changes to the service dog regulation to increase access for persons with disabilities. We have stopped previous government policies that community felt were regressive and disrespectful, including person with developmental disability safety standard and sport intensity scale. We are currently engaged with the community to work on a review of the PDD program. We have increased funding to PDD and ACE to ensure Albertans get the supports they need. We have released the AISH Action Plan to make AISH more user-friendly and accessible instead of trying to keep Albertans off of the program like the previous government did. We have worked openly and collaboratively with self-advocates, families, workers, and service providers. And we have heard loud and clear from the community, nothing about us without us. We have and will continue to honor this and work with the community to make improvements together. Bill 5 is an important step forward. We have garnered support from a wide array of stakeholders, including those 3,400 Albertans who signed Inclusion Alberta's petition. Frances Harley, mother of a disabled daughter, Joanne Lee, CEO of the Wicova Center for Disability Services and Research, Bruce Odesky, father of a son with disabilities and head of Inclusion Alberta, Leslie and Sherwin Tabler, Donna Desjardins of Inclusion St. Paul, Tina Trigg, mother of a disabled daughter and board member with Inclusion Alberta. Madam Speaker, Bill 5 will make life better for Albertans and will help ensure Albertans with disabilities are treated fairly and will support families that are planning for their children's future. I want to thank all of the self-advocates, families, and the staff that advocated for these important changes. I encourage all members of this Assembly to support this important bill. Thank you.